Today, I am in Union County, South Carolina, and specifically in the unincorporated community of Cross Keys. We are going to explore a home that was built between the years of 1812 to 1814. The home is known as the Cross Keys House, and it is the centerpiece of a once thriving plantation and stagecoach stop. The house sits on a hill along South Carolina Highway 49, where it intersects with Old Buncombe Road, once known as the Old Charleston Road. It is one of the oldest and most historically significant homes in Union County, South Carolina, as well as all of the upstate. It was and still is a remarkable home that has seen a lot in its 200-plus years, including playing host to Confederate President Jefferson Davis. So let's take a look at this magnificent piece of history. In 1776, as the American Revolutionary War continued to unfold, the area that would become Union County, South Carolina, was home to scattered settlers living in the backcountry as well as Cherokee Indians. The Cherokee had lived in the area for generations. During the war, the Cherokee allied with the British in hopes of stopping settlers from taking more and more land. This caused conflict between the Cherokee and Patriot militias. At first, the region remained relatively quiet, but as the war intensified, deep divisions began to emerge. The population split between loyalists and patriots, creating turmoil within the community. Churches were divided, families were torn apart, and some residents chose to leave the area altogether. The war would end in 1783. Barrum Bobo was born on March 28, 1776, in what is now Union County, South Carolina, while the Revolutionary War was still in its infancy. He would be 7 years old when the war ended. Barrum Bobo, in time, would be the builder and original owner of the Cross Keys House and the founder of the surrounding Cross Keys Plantation. Detailed information on the Bobo family was difficult to uncover, but I am especially grateful to Mr. Ray Bobo for his invaluable assistance in helping me with this part of the research. Barrum Bobo's parents were Sampson and Sarah Simpson Bobo. From what I have read, his parents had a total of 14 children. His father was born around 1738 in France and died in 1805. He eventually moved to Virginia and married Sarah Simpson. I did not find much information on Sarah, but she passed away in 1816. This marriage occurred around 1760. They would move to South Carolina before the American Revolution. They would settle near the area now known as Cross Keys. Barrum Bobo married Frances Ann Woodson around 1798. They would have 15 children. Barrum would pass away on September the 20th, 1829, at 53 years old. Sometime after Barrum's death, Frances Ann moved to Mississippi, where she lived until her death on October 28, 1857, at 80 years old. By the way, she was born on November the 3rd, 1777, in South Carolina. As I mentioned earlier, around 1812, Barrum Bobo would begin construction on the home, and it was completed in 1814. And once completed, it became the focal point of the area. The plantation consisted of 900 acres. I have read that the land that he built the house on was most likely inherited from his family. The plantation was operated by enslaved individuals who were forced to work the land for the benefit of the Bobo family. A number of slaves were assigned to keep watch over the Bobo children. While the exact number of people enslaved here remains unclear, historical accounts indicate that they lived in cabins and quarters scattered across the property. During his time, Barrum Bobo ran a mercantile business, distillery, operated a post office, along with running his plantation. Also, because the home was located at the old Piedmont Road and old Buncombe Road intersection, the home was also a tavern and stagecoach stop. The house was built in the Georgian Colonial style, which was popular during the 1700s and the early 1800s, when the first 4 British kings named George were on the throne. One feature of this style is what's called Flemish bond brickwork, where the bricks are laid in a pattern that alternates the long and short sides. This kind of brickwork was common in buildings from that time period. The house has 4 large chimneys, and if you look closely, you'll notice some unique brickwork. People I spoke with who are familiar with the house describe the designs as basket weave or snake patterns, and I can see both. I also want to mention that I read the bricks used to build the house were all made locally. Also, at the gables between the chimneys, there are stones that indicate the year construction on the house was started on one, and the year that construction was finished on the other. And you can see the cross keys insignia on each stone. Another trademark of the home is the raised portico with the white Tuscan columns at the front of the portico and engaged columns at the rear. In front of the walkway are 2 milestones that were used for travelers to know the distance to both Union and Columbia, South Carolina. The stone that indicates the distance to Union is a little harder to see, but it does have the number 12 on it. And the distance to Columbia, as you can see, is 67 miles. Before we go inside, I would like to take a moment to thank the staff of the Union County Museum. The day that I was at the Cross Keys house, the house was not open. They were cleaning the house and property and were kind enough to let me do a walkthrough. And they were all so very nice and helpful. I will leave a link to their website in the description. When you step through the front door of the house, you will be struck by the sense of history. The first thing you will notice is the staircase. It is the centerpiece of the entrance hall. It is simple elegance, but suits the home perfectly. To the left is the dining room. This space once hosted family meals, travelers, special gatherings, and an unexpected guest that I will cover shortly. Let me say that the house has original and donated period pieces throughout. But as you can see, great care has been taken to stay faithful to this grand old home. To the right, as you walk in, is the sitting parlor. This would have been the heart of hospitality here, a place for conversation, music, and receiving visitors. The piano and organ caught my eye in this room because I know that back in the day, music was a major form of entertainment. I am sure that many hours have been spent in this room listening to music over the years. And also, I love old clocks, and this one is outstanding. The fireplace that you see is also a focal point of the sitting parlor. There is a small library just off from the dining room, and in this room are books, a small desk, and a chair that reflect the practicality of the space. I would think that this room was used for reading, of course, writing letters, and probably managing the day-to-day affairs of the household. As we head upstairs, I would like to mention that the house was occupied by Bobo descendants until 1995. Today the house and 25 acres of land are owned by the Union County Historical Society. The master bedroom at Cross Keys offers both comfort and practical function. At the center of the room is a beautiful sleigh bed, complete with bed steps. Beside the bed is an armoire that would have been used for storing clothes and other personal items long before closets were common. The fireplace, of course, provided heat during the colder months, while the windows provided plenty of natural light and offered much-needed ventilation during the hot summers. And you can see that the flooring is wood. Here is a bedroom that is beside the master bedroom. As you can see, it is accessible from the hallway and the master bedroom. Across the hall from the master bedroom are two additional rooms. One is certainly a bedroom that was used by the family, and if I remember correctly, I think this room was primarily used as a children's room. This smaller adjoining room, again if I remember correctly, was also used as a children's bedroom. If you remember, Barrum Bobo and his wife, Frances Ann, had 15 children. Never a dull moment, I'm sure. Now, let's talk about the unexpected visitor that came to Cross Keys. The story of Confederate President Jefferson Davis visiting the house goes like this. While on the run from Union troops after the Civil War, Davis and some members of the Confederate government, along with several brigades of the Confederate Army, made their way to Union County, South Carolina. Around noon on April the 30th, 1865, Davis and a few of his top advisors approached the house and asked if they could join them for lunch. This type of request was not unusual back in those days, especially at Cross Keys. The men were reportedly served mutton. The other men who had lunch with Davis were said to be John H. Reagan, Judah P. Benjamin, John Breckinridge, and Stephen Mallory. The plate and some of the silverware that Davis used that day are said to still be in the family. The owner of the Cross Keys house at the time was Mary Ann Bobo Whitmire Davis, no relation to Jefferson Davis. Ironically, none of the residents in the house knew that it was Jefferson Davis until he told them as he was leaving. As we bring this video to a close, the story of the Cross Keys House is a powerful part of the history of Union County, South Carolina. From the beginning, under Barrum Bobo, to the present, this house has silently witnessed generations of history, and its stories are there for everyone to see. The house and its history is a constant reminder of all the people who lived, worked, and visited here. Every room in the house holds the stories of those people. Some of those stories we know, and others we will never know. If you have an interest in visiting the Cross Keys House in Union County, South Carolina, please call ahead of time as they have a limited schedule for tours. As I mentioned earlier, I will leave a link to the Union County Historical Society and Museum in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others. I will have another video out soon, and until then, I wish you all the best.